Recording is on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Mind Body Blend. Today, our focus is a little bit more on the yoga side, specifically yoga sculpt. So, this is where we take yoga poses. We'll be either holding them or moving through them while we're toning the upper body with light hand weights. I have a pair of 3-pound dumbbells. Whatever you have at home is going to work out great. If you don't have anything at all, or if you'd prefer not to add the extra workload, the movements can all be done without any hand weights. I also have a yoga block and a strap. You might need that. And a chair for a little bit of assistance with balance today. We're going to start with a little bit of a Tai Chi inspired warm up just to start getting the muscles warm, the blood flowing. Be sure that you are working at your own pace today, taking the modifications and the levels that work for you. I would love to all have you in my living room with me so I could check your form and help you with that. But you are listening to your own body today and doing what feels best for you. So let's start in Wide Wu Chi on the length of our mat with your feet turned out slightly. Your legs are wide, wider than the width of your hips. And just settle down into your knees. Our Wide Wu Chi movement, we have a level pelvis, a long spine, shoulder blades slightly drawn back, and then just begin to move side to side, nice and easy. So all we're doing is shifting our body weight. In Tai Chi, there's a lot of shifting so we can find our center of gravity and our balance. You're going at your own pace today, whatever feels good for you. We'll take our right arm and start to make an infinity sign, a little figure 8 pattern. So as it comes out to the right side, the palm turns up, and then to the left side, the palm turns down. So we're rotating through the forearm, but also through that upper arm bone. So you feel the arm bone rotating in the shoulder socket. Breathing is just normal, whatever feels good for you today. 2 more. And 1 more. Now bring this right arm, stretch it over the head and down. Again, stretch and down. Now, how much do you bend your knees? That's all up to you. You can make this a small movement. Just noticing how your knees are feeling today. And gradually as you warm up, you can make that knee bend just a little deeper. Big inhale. And 2 more. 1 more. Let's put these movements together. Give me a figure 8. And then an over the head stretch. Good. Figure 8. Overhead stretch. So mind-body classes are about being engaged mentally into the workout. So a lot of times there's a flow and a pattern of movement so that we can really focus and not just go through the motions. We have to think and think about the breath. Think about the movement. 1 more. Now hold this side stretch. Open up through the right side ribs. Take this same arm, wrap it behind your back. Look up to the ceiling and down to the floor. 2 more. Look up to the ceiling and the floor. Last time. And back to center with the head. Press up out of that leg. And we'll start to make our nice figure 8 on this left arm. Palm goes down. Palm goes up. I guess it's more of an infinity sign, right? Because an infinity sign lays on its side. A figure 8 would be straight up and down. Now just notice how those knees are starting to feel, maybe warming up a little bit, getting some synovial fluid into the joints, the ankles and the hips. And maybe your speed of movement has picked up just a little bit as you're feeling more confident in your balance. 2 more. And 1 more. Now stretch that arm, reach and lower it down. Notice how your shoulder's feeling today. Do you have any tenderness? Anything that you need to protect? A recent surgery or an injury? Just be aware of those areas today. Making any necessary modifications. I love to bring the inhale as I'm reaching and then exhale it down. 2 more. 1 more. Now let's put it all together. Infinity. And stretch. Good. We're getting used to that movement pattern. Maybe it's new. So we're developing new neuromuscular pathways in our brain. So we're learning that movement. We're fine-tuning it. It's feeling more comfortable. Now notice your abdominals. Try to zip up the midsection just a little bit in that lower belly. Maybe draw up the pelvic floor a little bit, the Mula Bandha. 2 more repetitions. Shoulders are feeling great, nice and warm. Last one. And hold that side stretch. Breathe into the ribs, reach out nice and long. Create your own dynamic stretch here. And then take this left arm, just gently wrap it behind your back. Look up to the ceiling and down to the floor. Rotating the head, looking up. Notice how that might challenge your balance just a little bit. And look down. 1 more time, gazes up and down. Head back to center. Press up out of that leg. Take a nice big inhale, reach. Then as you exhale, hinge forward, your wrists cross down in front of your body. This is sunflowers. We inhale, the wrists cross above the head. Exhale, they cross down. So I'm bending my knees into a nice deep squat and slightly hinging forward to warm up the back. Inhaling to reach and maybe opening your mouth. And exhaling any tension, any stress today. You're moving at your own pace. Now, if that bothers your lower back, you can stay upright here just a little bit more. You don't have to hinge forward. That doesn't feel okay for the low back. Let's do 2 more. Sunflower. 1 more. Then we'll reach up. Nice 5-pointed star. Moonflower, we bend our knees and pull the shoulder blades and elbows back. I'm pinching right between the shoulder blades. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades. The fingers are active, nice and spread. Feel energy in your entire body. 3 more, stretch up. Tighten those muscles in the upper back. 2 more. Last one. Combination. 1 sunflower. 1 moonflower. Alternating these movements, cross above the head, cross to the ground, 5-pointed star, and pull the shoulder blades back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. 3 more of each movement. Abs engaged, 2 more. Last sunflower. Last moonflower. Reach up to 5-pointed star. And let your arms float down. Clasp behind your back or place your hands at your hips. Roll your shoulder blades open. Take a nice stretch here. Open up the throat. 2 more breaths. And release the clasp of the hands, a couple shoulder rolls just to finish our warm-up. Okay, if you have light hand weights, I'd like you to go ahead and retrieve those as we start to tone the shoulders and the legs with our yoga chair pose. So in chair, we can come either with our feet tight together. This is more of the classical form of yoga. If that feels a little tippy to you and off balance, you can take your feet a little wider, about hips distance apart. Maybe try them both and see what feels best for you today. So in our chair pose, it's just like a squat. The arms float forward as the hips sit back, like you're going to sit into a chair. And we raise up. Hips sit back, arms rise, and up. The first couple, just take your time nice and slow. Make sure that you have that movement pattern. It feels comfortable. If the weights are too heavy, either set them down or we can shorten the lever of our arms. So we could come in here to a bicep curl. The weight sits back into your heels. Now, if you'd like, let's pick up the pace a little quicker. We go down and up and down and up. Now, as you come up, let your hands go behind your body a little bit and open up your chest. Get a little stretch right through the fronts of the shoulders and pinch your shoulder blades together. The arms go behind you any amount. Abdominals stay tight because I don't want you to do a huge back bend here. So still keep the abs engaged and just lift your arms behind you and open up the chest. Squeeze. 3 more. And up. The depth of that chair pose is up to you. 1 more. And then sit down into that squat and hold. Isometric contraction. Now you can keep your arms out to work the shoulders at the same time. You're working the legs. Or we can pull the weights in towards the chest or hold a little bicep curl. So we're staying still. Isometric means the muscles contracting without changing length. So we feel our quads working, our glutes working, but we're not moving. We're staying still. 10 seconds holding, and we're breathing. Shoulder blades down, good form, maybe drop a little deeper. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rise up, releasing those arms by your side. All right, so we'll come into a position called Warrior 1. So I'm going to step 1 foot forward, the other foot back with a slight turnout, and then square the hips forward into this warrior position. Shoulders are back. Nice long spine. Good. So we find our balance in the pose, and we shift from warrior one into a balanced pose called warrior three. And I have my chair right out in front of me in case I need to use it for balance. So begin to shift forward, lift up your back foot, and then you can bring your hands either to your chair or just keep your weights dangling down. When you feel you have your balance and you're ready to return, step back again into your warrior one. So I just want you to go back and forth between these two poses at whatever pace works best for you. So our standing leg, we're going to start to feel that into the hip joint as we're creating stabilization, isometric contraction of the muscles around the hip. And we also feel it in the lower leg. So those little muscles in the shin that stabilize the ankle, that help us balance, are contracting and working. Let's get a couple more here. Warrior one to warrior three. You can always set your weights down at any time and use your fingertips on your chair for balance. Excellent. All right, switch legs. So I'm going to step my back foot forward and my front foot back into my warrior one stance. This is referred to as a closed hip pose. We're going to keep our hips facing our chair. Shift your body weight into that front leg. Lift up off the back leg. Balance. And step back down. So the type of chair I have, I can either have the base, the seat of the chair closest to me, if I need to place my fingertips on it, or I can have the back of the chair closer to me and put my hands up in that higher position to help me balance. Now, sometimes the control, the most difficult place to control is coming back down, because we're going with gravity, and gravity's pulling us back towards the earth. So we use that standing leg and our core to help stabilize us as we come back down into our warrior one pose. Feeling that work in your supporting leg. 3 more repetitions. Good, take your time, feel control, mindful movement. 2 more. And 1 more, up. And down. Good, step that back foot in. Switch legs again, stepping way back, but we'll turn open to warrior two. So warrior two now, we call this an open hip pose. And then just bring your arms, bend them about 90 degrees right in front of your body. Open this knee out so it's tracking right over the heel. Shoulder raises, we open and close. So if you have really light weights or no weight at all, your arms can be pretty straight here, all the way out. If the weights are heavy, we're going to bend the elbows to shorten the lever. Open and close. Now be mindful not to lift your arms too high. I'm just coming to shoulder level, or maybe a little less than that might even be better for most of us. Shoulder blades are down, just the arm bones moving. 4 more. Abs tight. Now that front leg getting a nice isometric contraction. Let's hold the arms up, up. Now they can be straight, they can be bent, and then we'll gaze over the right side and the left side, moving the head. It's amazing how heavy 3 pounds can feel with straight arms. One more time, looking side to side. Gaze back to center, lower down. Ooh, give those shoulders a little roll up, back, and down. We'll switch to the other side, warrior two. So press the leg straight, pivot the foot in, turn the other foot out, bend that knee, find your alignment. Bring the arms in front of you, bend them maybe about 90 degrees to start, and we open and close. Maybe check and see if you can lengthen the arms longer, or maybe on this side you have to set your weights down. Anything is fine for you today. Now, if lifting your arms is uncomfortable, we can do this little rotator move, bringing it out and in. Excellent option. So doing what feels best for your body today. 3 more. Lift. Maybe sink a little deeper into that front leg. Bend it a little bit more if that feels okay. Good. Are you ready to hold? Bring those arms up, bending your elbows any amount. Look over one hand. Look over the other hand. 2 more. Zip up everything nice and strong. 1 more. Gaze back to center. Slowly lower. Ooh, roll those shoulders. Beautiful. Now we'll straighten both legs, turn both feet forward, and we'll do a nice forward bend to bring our hand weights down to the floor. Take a little stretch here. Just release your arms down. Let your head dangle. Let your shoulders relax. Maybe shift a little bit from side to side. Whatever feels best for your body. 2 more breaths in this wide leg forward fold. 1 more breath. And then walk your hands over to one side. Pivot and then push back to a downward facing dog. Slowly pedal out your feet, bending one knee at a time. Press the opposite heel down into the mat. So we've been working a little bit on holding a plank this month also in our classes. I want to have an opportunity to take some time to hold a plank. Now there's many ways we can do our plank. So the first way is on the wrists. Second way is on the elbows. So we can drop down to the forearms if your wrists are bothering you. Then we'll start to lower our body down to where it's level with the floor. We can keep the knees up off the mat, or we can relax the knees down. Try to keep the body nice and straight, and we'll breathe. So holding 60 seconds from here. Make sure that you come down if you need to at any time and take a break. You can always come back up. If you're up on your hands, your wrists are getting tired, come down to those forearms. So isometric contractions here, just holding everything stable, especially the core. We're breathing at a nice rhythmic pace. In and out through the nose. We have 30 seconds left in our plank. Woo, feeling it now. Stay in it with me if you can. See if you can fine tune your form just a little bit. 15 seconds. Looking good. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees. Press back to a nice gentle child's pose and stretch. Forehead comes to the mat. Just a couple breaths here. Was excellent. So we'll be working on balance in our spinal balance position, which also works our core. So we'll come up to all fours. You've got your weights here close. So let's take one of our weights into our right hand. Pull up your elbow. So it's just about level with the floor. I want you to try a tricep kickback here, just straightening the elbow, bending it back to 90 degrees. So we don't want to bring the weight all the way forward to the shoulder because then we get to throw the weight up rather than place it. So at about 90 degrees and to straight. Now, if that feels okay for you, pick your left leg up off the floor, send it back, level off your pelvis and your shoulders. 10 tricep kickbacks, slow and controlled. 2, 3, squeeze that upper arm. 4, shoulders are stable. 5, abs zipped up. 6, neutral head position. 7, 8, 9, hold it up. 10, isometric contraction. We're just still, except for the breath. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The knee comes down, the arm relaxes. Good. Take a stretch, anything that feels good for you on that arm, we can bring it up. Stretch the tricep or the shoulder. And we have the other side to do. And you can do this without a weight or with a little can of soup at home that maybe weighs 12 ounces, and you're going to feel it. Okay, left elbow is up. Let's try a couple kickbacks here. Make sure your resistance feels good and you're moving through the correct range of motion. Not swinging the arm forward, mindfully placing it into extension. And if that feels good, you want to add your extra stabilization. Take your right leg back. 10 more tricep extensions. Exhale to lengthen the arm. 8 more. Level off your pelvis. 6. 5. Back leg is really straight and active. 4. 3. 2. Straighten that arm, hold. Isometric. We're breathing through this. Try not to hold your breath. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knee comes down, arm relaxes, and we can stretch, a tricep stretch. You can also take a child's pose here, or your shoulders stretch across. Now I've got my hand weights, one on each side of my mat, so I can very easily reach down and pick them up. Let's take your right foot, step forward into a kneeling lunge. Drop down into a nice stretch. And we'll just hold this stretch, reaching the arms either up or pressing them at your heart center. Just a couple nice breaths to stretch out the hip flexor. And we are going to work the upper back, the backs of the shoulders. So in our kneeling lunge, hinge your body forward so you're at about a 45-degree angle. Reach for your hand weights. Let them lower down by your sides. We'll open the arms out and down. Now we've got to have that 45-degree angle forward so we can get the backs of the shoulders to be your prime mover and your upper back. So if we're up here, we're just getting shoulder raises again in the medial deltoid. So get that upper body forward. If your weights are too heavy, this isn't doable. Your option is to pull your elbows up and down. So we've just essentially shortened the lever to make the work a little easier. Now you should be feeling some work in your front leg. Isometric work in your quad and glute. 4 more. Down. 3. Down. 2. Last 1. And relax the weights down. Now either reaching to your block or to the floor, we'll straighten this front leg and take a hamstring stretch. I'm going to pull my toes up to really lengthen the back of the leg, the hamstring, the calf. Just take a few breaths here. As you hold, you may be able to sink a little deeper down, but there's no specific range to get to, just whatever your body needs today. 2 more breaths. And then we'll rise up, bringing that knee back in, switching to our kneeling lunge on the other leg. The left foot steps forward. Now, sometimes the error that I see is this foot doesn't come up far enough. So our lunge ends up looking like this. I want you to get that foot way out there and let your pelvis drop down. Your knee is way back behind your hips. Arms can reach up. Or palms press at your heart. Just hold a stretch here for that hip flexor on the back leg. The glute on the front leg. Couple more breaths. And then we'll hinge our body forward about 45 degrees. Reach down for your hand weights. Turn your palms to face behind you. And we'll lift straight arms back and lower down. Lift and lower. Again, we've got to get that 45-degree forward lean so we can put gravity in the right place to challenge the muscles of the back, backs of the shoulders. We're getting those triceps here as well. Now, if that's too much workload, either do it without weights, or we can pull the elbows back and down, shortening your lever. 5 more. Neutral head, 4. Exhale to lift, 3. Stable, 2. 1 more. And release the weights down. Aren't you glad we didn't do an isometric there? Me too. Okay, shift back, either using your block or your floor for support. Pull the toes up. You can also have your hands on your chair if it's close enough. Just reach your fingertips out. It's a great tool to use for a lot of poses, a lot of stretches. Just notice how your hamstring's feeling, calf on this side. Take your time to settle in, find your edge. And we'll stay here just a couple more slow breaths. And then exhale completely. We'll bring that knee back in. And come back to all fours. Still focusing on the back muscles. We'll bring the right hand and place it to the back of the head. Your right elbow is just open straight out to the side. Now lift that elbow up, opening and twisting, and then lower your elbow down to the ground. Look the other direction. Open and twist, lower down. Now you can either put your inhale as you come up or your exhale. Either way is okay with this movement. Just want you to be breathing on every repetition. Finding that nice range of motion in your twist and working on strengthening the back, the posterior obliques. 2 more. 1 more. Hold this one here in the upper position. We can reach that arm up. Then we're going to thread this hand through. Thread the needle. Set your shoulder down. Top hand, place it right on your sacrum. You can also wrap it behind the back and see if you can insert your fingers into that crease between your hip and your thigh. Gentle shoulder stretch here, and I really feel this in the inside of my right shoulder blade. 1 more breath. And this hand that's wrapped around comes back to your mat to press yourself up and slide that hand out, come back to all fours. Now the left hand, fingertips come to the back of the head and we twist open. See if you can point that elbow as high as you can up toward the ceiling and then point it down to the mat and look the other way. Open. Now I can just tell by my gaze that I'm tighter on this side and I'm not getting my elbow up as high as I did on the other side. So that's pretty common. We are creatures of habit. So we tend to do things monodirectional. So for instance, if you're a person who golfs, you have your golf swing and you never do it to the other side, right? So your body's out of balance in your twist. That's true for most of us. Let's do 2 more here. Feel that back working. Reach it up. 1 more. Hold it at the top. Top hand can lift. Then thread the needle, reaching that arm through. Set your shoulder gently to the floor and your left ear. Right hand, place it on your sacrum. Or feed it around your lower back. See if you can get your fingertips in the hip crease. Notice your breath here. Try to calm it down, slow it down. Find some rest and relaxation in this pose. 2 more breaths. Unwrap that right arm. Bring it back down to the floor. Press yourself up. Come back to all fours. Now, curve your back, round it up, look toward your belly into a cat stretch. Then drop your belly down, look forward, lift your tailbone into cow. 2 more times. Round up, cat stretch. Pull your abs in, feel them working. Lower down, spinal extension. 1 more. Round up. And extend the spine. Come back to neutral. So one of your weights is going to tuck behind your right knee. And you're going to grab it with your hamstring. So that's going to cause some work back here in the hamstring. We're up onto both hands, nice and light. This leg lifts up and down. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the hamstring as you lift and lower that leg. Now, if you're not feeling secure with a weight behind your ankle, you can do this without. If you want a little bit more challenge, lift your left hand off the floor, come into spinal balance. Up and down. Now, when we worked the tricep, we were in spinal balance while we're working the arm. Now we're balancing out our spinal extension by working one of the lower extremities. 4 more. Pick it up and down. That right ankle can be pointed or flexed. 3 more. In yoga, you'll see it flexed. In ballet bar, you'll see it pointed. In Pilates, you'll see it pointed. And up. 1 more. Up and down. Set the hand down, return the knee towards the floor. Slide your hand weight out. Tuck your toes, lift your hip. Down dog, just to elongate your hamstring back out from having done that particular exercise. We strengthen and then we lengthen. All right, switching sides, lower the knees back down to the mat. Take your hand weight, put it in the crease of the knee joint, and then grab it. So you've got to squeeze it tight to activate your hamstring. Pick up your knee and lift the leg. We go up and down. Now, if you don't want to lift the hand off the ground, you're not feeling as secure enough to do that, that's okay. You can just take some body weight out of the right hand. Or reach it out. Thumb is up like you're going to shake someone's hand. We're lifting that leg through a nice range of motion, but keeping the abdominals really tight. So I don't want you to arch your back here as the legs come up. Abs are engaged. 5 more. Hamstring and glute working. 4. Exhale to squeeze it up. 3. 2. 1 more. Lower it down. The hand releases to the mat. Slide the weight out from underneath the knee. Tuck your toes. Lift the hips. Down dog. Drop those heels. Stretch. 2 more breaths. And then we'll drop our knees down to the mat. Swing our legs around in front of us to come to a seated position. So have your hand weights close by for options for overhead pressing. Now, if overhead pressing isn't okay for you, your option is going to be bicep curls. So we'll lean the body back a little bit to activate the abs. Pick the right leg up and straighten your leg. The weights come just above the shoulders, long spine, and we press up and down. up and down. Now, the further back you lean, this becomes more of a chest press. If you're sitting straight up, it becomes more of an overhead press. It's just where we're putting that workload with the angle of our body. 3 more. Exhale. Down. And 2. 1 more. Rest the weights. Rest the legs. Sit up. Did you feel the work in that right quad? I definitely did. The more you tighten that muscle isometrically, the more work you're going to get. All right, left leg lifts. Lean back. Now, if you want to try the bicep curls, you're here. Or overhead press or chest press again, you're here. Or no weights at all. What's working isometrically? Your quadricep and your core. Nice and tight. We have 5 to go. Long spine. 4. And down. 3. Are you breathing? Woo. 2. Yes, this is hard. 1 more. And down. Release the weights. Sit yourself up. And then we'll come with the knees open into Baddha Konasana for a gentle lower back release. Sometimes when we're doing a core stabilization exercise, we feel it a little bit in our back. So take a nice stretch there. Now, if you have a yoga block, I'm going to give you the option to support your hips in a bridge. If you don't have the block, that's okay. You'll still do a bridge, but without support. So have that block next to you. Roll down onto your back. 1 vertebra at a time, or you can roll over onto your side first and then roll to your back. Arms are by your side. Press your feet nice and evenly into the mat. So lift up into that bridge. Make sure your knees and your feet and your hips are tracking nice and evenly. Now, little tiny lifts right at the top of the bridge. The hips come up, partway down. Up, partway down. So this again is working the hamstrings and the glutes. The core nice and neutral. Head, neck, and shoulders relaxed. We have 8 and down. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it up. Now, if you don't have a yoga block, you're just staying here in your bridge and working. If you'd like to make this a little bit more restorative, take your yoga block, slide it under your hips, whatever height feels good for you. It has 3 different heights on your block. You can hold a supported bridge. Now we're also going to do legs up the wall today. You can use your block for that as well. You can use your chair, or if you have wall space at home, you can actually use your wall. So if you're on your block, you want to use your block for legs up the wall. You're going to pick one leg up and then the other leg up. If you don't have a block, you can just lower your hips down from your bridge, lay flat on your back, and lift your legs straight up. You can also bend your knees with your feet over your chair or lengthen your legs up a wall. So legs up a wall is so wonderful for immune support. it helps us to bring that fluid that gets clogged down in the lower body back up towards the heart. The blood flowing up a series of one-way valves. Now, to help those fluids along the way, we'll move the ankles. Point, flex, point, flex. This is called the muscle pump. So we're squeezing the muscles in the lower legs, which helps to squeeze the blood back towards the heart. Eight more. Flex and point. 7. Point. 6. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Just relax your feet. Feel the effects of that in your shins. Moving that lymphatic fluid back towards the heart to be circulated. Let your legs feel heavy. If you need to bring them down at any time, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we're here for about another 3 minutes. Now, during that 3 minutes time, you can again pump your ankles. Some of you might have a shoulder stand in your yoga practice, but I'm not going to physically teach that today since I can't see you and make sure you're doing it properly, because it can be detrimental to your neck. So only you at home, if you know your shoulder stand and you feel like you can do that safely, you can do that for yourself at home. It's another form of an inversion. If you'd like to also circle the ankles, that's a nice way to pump that fluid back down from the ankles. If you're one that gets a little swelling in your feet, this is a wonderful pose to do every day. You can reverse those circles. We're also moving wonderful oxygenated blood to the brain. It's usually the highest point of our body. So that blood flow has to travel against gravity. Now we're bringing it with gravity. And having your hips elevated on a block really helps with that. Let's hold here 1 more minute. If you need to come down sooner, feel free. If you're having a hard time holding your legs up, you can take your yoga strap, flip it over the bottoms of the feet, and use your hands to help your legs stay lifted. Just a few more breaths here. You might feel the sensation of your legs getting lighter as the capillaries are being emptied of the blood. Now, if you'd like to stay here longer, there's no rush to get up. We can close class and you can just remain as you are for as long as you'd like. Or if you're following the sound of my voice, we'll bring those feet back down to the floor. If you're up on a block, push through the feet, slide the block out from underneath the hips, come back down, and then we'll hug knees into the chest. We'll lower the feet back down to the floor, cross the right ankle over the left thigh, and pull your knees up towards you. Figure 4 stretch for the hips, reclining pigeon. Just feel that gentle stretch in the outer thigh, the glutes, where we spent a lot of time working those muscles. We strengthen and then we lengthen. If you need a little more time there, you can remain. Otherwise, we'll switch sides. Left ankle crosses the right thigh. Draw those knees up. Notice any difference you might feel on this side. Without competition or self-condemnation, just mindful awareness. And if you need a little more time, remain there if you'd like. Or we'll uncross the ankle, hug the knees into the chest, either roll to your side to sit up, or roll yourself up like a ball. Come to a simple cross-leg pose. Lengthen the spine nice and long. Drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Then take your right hand and just set it across and give yourself a little press down. Lengthening through the side of the neck, scalenes. And then release the hand, bring the head back to neutral. Gently tip the left ear towards the left shoulder and add that little extra pressure, pushing the right shoulder down. Neck is long. And we're breathing. And head comes back up, hand relaxes to your knees. We'll take 3 circles of the spine around and back. 2 more. One more this direction. Pause and reverse. 3 circles. Just relaxing any remaining tension in your lower back. And bring that spine back to neutral. And we'll take a breath together. Sweep the arms out and up. Press palms at heart center as we express our gratitude for this opportunity to practice virtually and the light and love and peace that resides within me honors the light and love and peace in each of you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to stay on for another second, say hello. I'd love to see you. Have a great rest of your week.